I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to episode number 27 of the best thing we've seen podcast. Not just the good thing that we've seen, but the best thing we've seen. My name is Flo,
and I'm Gabe. Oh,
there it is. It was dude. A little bit hungover, and therefore grateful that we were able to postpone this recording by a couple of hours.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Even though it might have made for an interesting episode if I was just struggling to put sentences together, even more than I usually do, obviously.
I think it just would have taken you longer to cut this episode.
That's very true. We'll see how bad it's going to be now, but hopefully it won't be. Right. Yeah, how are you doing?
Yeah, dude, I'm fine. I've also been hungover quite recently. Luckily, not today.
What, last week?
Yesterday.
Right.
But the good thing is, the bad thing is, yesterday the weather kind of changed and it's become quite hot again.
Yeah.
For a couple of days it was quite rainy and quite nice actually. Of course, the day I had too much to drink, I was just lying in bed and it was so freaking hot outside.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Yeah, me too. This like up and down is like not good for me. Gives me headaches all the time.
Yeah, dude, me too.
Yeah. But things that won't give us headaches are great things that we're going to talk about today.
I don't know. What's your pick?
That's way too fast. So, yeah, it's my turn to start, I think, right?
Yes,
but
it is.
We need a bit more banter because we're like 2 minutes in. Give me something. What do you got? What's been happening this week?
Well, once again, my kitchen looks like complete shit. Call back to it. Oh, yeah.
Call back to it. Yeah.
No, otherwise, I don't know. I haven't been doing a lot. I mean, hanging around in Vienna.
Yeah.
Working, but now I'm technically on vacation, which is quite nice.
Are you officially yet? I thought it was a couple of weeks, like next week or something.
No, I just have a lot of time off next week for whatever reason, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Have you been watching like a lot? Doesn't have to be a new thing, but like anything?
Not really. I've been kind of out and about more than usually, I guess.
Okay.
And so I didn't have a lot of time. I've been watching a couple of things. One thing that we talked about before in this podcast.
Okay.
And I want to check it out. Something you talked about before.
Interesting.
And something we can talk about later because I'm quite excited to talk about it now as well. And I think it would have been my pick if it hadn't been a pick before in a recent episode.
Well, if you don't mind, I would love to talk about it now to sort of make it a bit more suspenseful to what our actual picks are going to be.
Yeah, sure. Well, hopefully all of you will remember what we talked about last week's episode, which was Normal People, your pick.
Yes.
And I got to watch it yesterday. I've been meaning to watch it, and then something kind of came up, and I was like, all right, no, I want to kind of do this when I have time. I don't want to rush it. And so I started yesterday evening, and I just watched one episode and was like, oh, okay, it's kind of cool. And then I stopped, did something else, whatever, watched something else, and then for whatever reason I came back to it. And then I just want to binge watch it in one go, to be honest, but it was quite late, so I restrained myself and I only watched the first 3 episodes.
You did?
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Thank you, me too.
So you haven't finished it?
No, not at all. I'm quite early on.
Wow. So what so you watched 3 episodes. What do you think?
Yeah. So far, it's great. I really love both of them just from the acting, but as you said, he was kind of your favorite.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm kind of more interested in her story, to be honest.
Oh, dude, keep watching. Keep watching.
Well, the last episode ended, well, I don't want to say cliffhanger, because I kind of know what's going to happen.
What was episode 3?
Episode 3 is when he goes to the prom without her.
Oh, yeah.
And then he calls her late at night, and then the episode ends.
Right.
So I know it's not like they're going to break up forever, because there's like 9 episodes to go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've been
You're too
very
smart.
much
Too smart for your own
misinformed.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's great. The acting really is great. You were right about that. Yeah.
So have you purchased this like Stars Play thing as well on Amazon?
Yeah, I subscribe to it for now.
Is it that trial period?
Yeah, right, for 2 weeks, and that's why I also want to wait, because I didn't want to start the period and then get to watch one episode and then kind of forget about it and then have to pay for it. So
Sure.
I thought I'd do it when I really have time, because I have time today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, also because you said it's with an Irish accent, which really is quite nice. But
Yeah.
I found myself, like, about once an episode at least, I have to turn on the subtitles, because there's like one word that I just can't fucking understand, and I keep rewinding and rewinding just because of my ego. I don't want to turn on the subtitles. And I was like, all right, I
What
give
an
up.
interesting ego you got.
I just want to understand what they're saying, not look at the subtitles. You know?
So you're saying there's always one word you don't understand, or it's always the same word?
No, it's just once per episode. There's
Right.
some sentence. It's not necessarily a word. It's just they say it so fast I
Sure.
can't understand where the word begins and where a word ends. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, how did you cope with the accent? Did you understand everything, or did you have to turn the subtitles as well?
I watched it with subtitles, but that's something that I generally quite like to do. I don't know why. Like it just because I would do the same thing. I'm one of those like OCD type of movie or show watchers that wants to understand every sentence.
Yeah.
And so it's just easier if I have the subtitles on and I don't have to rewind. If I just don't understand something, I can just have a quick glance down at the subtitles and then I just, all right, thank you, I'm good now. But
I know what you mean, but I think it just becomes quite distracting at times, because
I
then
know.
I kind of read everything they say and then I don't pay as much attention to the pictures and to the actors. So I
yeah,
should.
it's a struggle.
Sure is.
Yeah.
First world problems.
But it is. I honestly, I think I would understand most of it, because I've listened to various British and Irish accents over the years, and I feel like I feel like I didn't need the subtitles, but obviously they helped at certain times as well.
I think it's not that bad in shows. Just sometimes when they have those really casual conversations, they speak way quieter,
Yeah.
and way more casual and faster because of that, I guess.
Sure.
And that's kind of those kind of moments that I struggle with, because there's this one moment where the lead actor and one of his friends were sitting in a car and he asks him something, and I just couldn't figure out what the question was.
What was the question?
I don't remember.
Okay. How are you?
The fuck what?
What did he say? Yeah, but because you also said you're more invested in her story. I'm not saying
For
that.
now.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
think
saying that his story is the more interesting one. I'm just saying I was more sort of amazed by his acting, not necessarily by his role, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I liked
I think I
both
get
characters
what you mean.
equally. I just thought he was even better than she was. And
Sure.
she's great as well.
And I think, well, you shouldn't judge an actor by that, but she's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
She is.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm really excited to see what both of these guys, or one of these girls, or what they're going to do in the next couple of years. I feel like.
Yeah, me as well. I mean,
Great
did they
things.
do anything noteworthy before? I mean, I think you said that he's quite new to acting or to bigger roles, but did she
I believe
have any bigger roles?
I believe
before
she
that?
was a part of another show, and that
Right.
was sort of the other main thing she's been a part of.
A BBC show, or
I would have to look it up now. I don't remember, but I think what I can say pretty safely, this is their big break for both of them.
right? I mean, they're quite young.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny because a friend of ours, Ben, he recently he purchased a concert ticket for like an online concert
Right.
from Dermot Kennedy, who's I believe an Irish singer as well.
Yeah, sure.
And
if you say so.
when he watched the thing, and Paul Mescal, the guy who plays Connell,
Right.
he was a part of that concert. He kept like in between songs, he was reading poems or poetry or something like that.
Wow, what?
Yeah, and I was like, Ben told me about this, not knowing that I had watched Normal People, And I was like, he was like, yeah, and this guy, Paul Mescal, something. Paul Mescal was part of, what? The guy from Normal People? He was like, yeah, I looked it up as well. He's part of Normal. I was like, dude, watch that show. I don't know why he's a part of that concert, but apparently they're friends with each other. And yeah.
Sure. I mean, it kind of fits his character as well with the whole poetry thing.
Well, that's saying that he's like his character. I don't know if that's the case, but.
Well, it fits to what I kind of thought of him, I guess, because I don't know anything about him in real life. So
yeah. But yeah, I'm happy that you enjoyed it so far. I'm excited to let's talk about it once you finished it. Maybe we'll do like a spoiler special. Sure. Maybe by the time I'll get to watch another episode of Dark. I haven't watched an episode since. Not one.
You still haven't finished season 1?
No. Haven't watched an episode since we talked about it. But I want to. But, obviously the next week is sort of going to be, if I watch something, it's going to be in preparation for the special.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of stressed out because we talked about who we're going to talk about in the next special about like 4 weeks ago. More I still haven't watched anything. I already made like a list. That's what I want to rewatch. That's something new that I haven't watched and haven't watched anything. Yeah, but
it's always a struggle because we obviously want to prepare for each week's episode, and then we want to watch something for the regular episode, and we can't watch something for the special episode. And then
and that's kind of hard because there are a couple of really good films, but like 2 hours or longer, and I've already watched them to kind of fit that.
Yeah.
Into my kind of, I don't want to say schedule. It sounds like I have shit to do. I really don't, but
you do.
At times, yeah.
But yeah, I hope I'll get around to watching Dark. But obviously, this week I'll be watching some things for next week's episode.
All right. So, what's the best thing that you've seen this week?
All right, here we go. Story time. Hold on to your seats.
I have a cup of tea next to me. I'm going to enjoy this one.
No, I'll be quick. But I do want to give a little bit of a preamble for this week's pick. My pick this week is a movie that I have been looking forward to for such a long time. And it was a movie that was supposed to be released in theaters, I believe, in like April over here. A movie that's been out in the States since like November, and we had to wait till like April for it to be released, and then obviously it wasn't released because the cinemas closed and stuff.
Right.
So I kept looking, when is this movie going to be released online? Like, who streams it? Where can I buy it? Blah blah blah. Now it's August. I've been looking forward to this movie for almost a year.
Then we're excited. Yeah,
I mean, the movie that I'm going to talk about today is called Dark Waters. Do you remember this film?
Dark Waters? No, I don't think so.
I told you about this film months and months ago, obviously. And I told you that this was a movie that I was looking forward to. It stars Mark Ruffalo. And it's about the... do you remember this at all? No? It's fine if you
think so. I mean,
don't.
I'm sure you told me about it, but... Like you said, it's been quite a while.
You never listen to anything I say, by the way.
I do listen, I just forget immediately.
That's fair enough. Anyway, I've the only way to watch this film right now, legally, is to buy the DVD from the UK.
That's what you did.
Sure.
Sure, that's it. That's how you watch it.
I did.
Yeah, sure. I believe you.
No, I did, yeah. And I was like, first of all, there isn't even a Blu-ray you could buy. And I'm now like, I'll keep looking at when is it going to be released? When is it going to be released? Like, and I'm hoping that one day it's just going to be put on Prime or on Netflix or any other streaming platform. But right now, if you want to watch it legally, you can purchase the DVD through Amazon.co.uk. And that was enough for me to finally watch this because I couldn't take it any longer. I wanted to watch this film. And it was good. It wasn't
very anticlimactic.
Yeah. It wasn't as great as I'd hoped because a couple of critics that I follow, they were posting about this film. Even German critics who got to see it like in like some press screening before everything shut down. People that I quite, or whose opinion I quite respect, and they were raving about this. right?
Should we redo last week's special format where we just read out reviews from
Well,
other people?
the review would be in German, so it would
Alright.
be a bit of a struggle for all of our international listeners, you know. No, but that just when I read about when I read how much they enjoyed it, I was even more excited about it. And basically, what this movie is about, it's a true story, very true story about a town in West Virginia where Mark Ruffalo plays a real life corporate defense lawyer. He's called Rob Billets.
Of course, a courtroom drama.
Well, it's not a courtroom drama, not as much as I'd hoped. That was.
What do you mean?
No, it is about a law. It's a law drama, but there's very little courtroom scenes in it and stuff,
All right.
which I love, as you know. But the lawyer is called Rob Bilott, I believe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, even though I watched the film. I am sorry. And basically, someone else approaches him because he knows him through his grandmother, and he was like, "Please come have a look at my little farm. The water is poisoned, and all my cows are dying, and they're developing these ridiculous diseases and tumors and everything." So he's
Kind of
hesitant.
rings a bell.
Yeah. And the character, the lawyer, is hesitant because he's a corporate defense lawyer. He's not usually defending the little guy who, that's not his job.
Usually
but then,
he's
yeah.
defending the corporation who's
Yeah.
poisoning the water.
Absolutely. And he has a look at it, and then he sees like all these graves that he had to bury the guy on the farm because all of his cows died. Like 190 cows died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And basically what the movie is then is about him figuring out what is going on in the water in the country and even like in bigger areas in the country or in the state.
So it's a bit more of an investigation movie.
Yes. It's got those spotlight elements to it. It's one of those movies that tell a story that is so unbelievable that it's actually true. It's like you can't fathom that this thing actually is true and that it's actually happened. And that's why I'm comparing it, for example, to Spotlight.
From the description, it sounds more like Aaron Brockovich, to be honest.
Absolutely. It's got that water theme. Oh, no, but you're absolutely right. That's for sure a movie that I thought of as well. But basically, I'm spoiling. I'm not spoiling things. That's really just what the movie's about now. It's the discovery rather quickly is then that a big firm called DuPont, they're creating the Teflon pans.
Right.
Because obviously this movie, it starts off in the 90s, I believe, early 90s, and then it tells a story that's spanning to like 2015. Because
with like the same characters,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you get like a aftermath 15 years later, somebody else is doing this now.
No, it's just the story just took this long.
All right.
Because
Okay.
the firm, the DuPont, obviously, they use a chemical called PFOA or C8, and they use that in their pans and stuff. And it turns out that this, as I said, this is real. This chemical is nowadays found in like almost every human being, and it's because once it enters your blood supply, it doesn't. Your body can't.
Get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it, basically, yeah. And this, it is found, or this chemical leads to unbelievable, it's so unhealthy and so risky, and it leads to so many diseases. And the firm just doesn't care about it because they throw their toxic waste in the water supply and everyone who's drinking the water then sort of gets this chemical, and children are born with horrible things. And to think that this is actually the case, and unbelievable, dude. That the firm just, they don't care because it's obviously all about money, and their Teflon pans are selling like crazy. They're getting $1 billion revenues and stuff. And the movie's sort of about the lawyer figuring out what they're actually doing and the harm that they're actually doing, and sort of trying to represent the little guys and seeking justice for the people who are affected by the effects of this chemical.
This kind of sounds like it's kind of a feel-good, like, justice film, but then in the end, it's kind of leaves a bad aftertaste just
dude,
because you know how much
Yeah.
shit happens.
Very little feel good about this.
All right.
Very dark, very gritty, interesting color palette, which sounds artsy and goofy to say, but
I know what you mean, yeah.
like it's got those. I don't know if I want to say it. I've written it down, but it's got Fincher vibes, but not. It's not as good as a Fincher film, but
Yeah, right.
just sort of from
So
its
a lot
look.
green.
Yeah, green, yellowish hue, very very dark, as I said, and sort of the music as well has some Fincher-esque music. It's directed by Todd Haynes, who did Carol, for example, which we watched together.
Right.
Yeah. Very, and he's done other things. He did that Bob Dylan film, the I'm Not Here.
No, yeah.
I'm Not There. I'm Not Here.
I'm not sure, yeah.
One of those two. Very acclaimed and accomplished director. And it stars, obviously, Mark Ruffalo as the lawyer. You got Anne Hathaway in this as his wife. Tim Robbins plays one of the guys who works at the same firm. And Bill Pullman, Bill Kemp, he plays the little farmer. I don't know if you can picture Bill Kemp. He's been basically every film. Great actor, great character actor.
No idea.
I'm 100% sure that you know him once you see him. He plays the guy who's working at the farm, and he sort of approaches Rob.
Is Tim Robbins one of the good guys or one of the bad guys?
He's
bad
one.
guys.
Well,
Because I know he's quite an activist in real life, so I can kind of picture him in like this
he plays
savior role.
He plays Mark Ruffalo's boss, and he's sort of he's not really either good or bad. He's just worried about the actions that, obviously, because it's a huge event that they're sort of suing DuPont, which is a huge firm, and the fact that a corporate defense lawyer sues that huge firm, sort of he's worried about the implications and the ramifications of that, and he's sort of trying to talk Mark Ruffalo's character out of it at times, but he is not a bad guy. He's just worried about his firm. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But he's not a good or bad, but obviously there's one scene where Anne Hathaway's character confronts him because he treats Mark Ruffalo's character, he doesn't treat him well enough, but he's not a bad guy, you know. Yeah.
Tough but fair boss.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so interesting because when that movie ended, I looked up how tall Mark Ruffalo is, because he looks tiny in this film, and I was like, maybe the guy he portrays is tiny, and they sort of filmed it to make him look as tiny as he is in real life, but he's actually not tiny. Maybe I'm just.
What do you consider tiny?
No, he just genuinely looked small. I never noticed how tiny Mark Ruffalo is.
Well, I guess maybe they make him look bigger in like the Avengers films.
That could be. And I'm not saying that I looked it up. He's like, I don't know, the feet now, like 1 meter 73 centimeters, which is not tall, but it's not.
It's on the shorter side.
It is. But yeah, I looked up some interviews as well where the real guy was interviewed as well, the real Rob Billot, and you can really see how well he is portrayed by Mark Ruffalo, because he's got his tics down to a T. Really, really impressive.
His little
work.
mannerisms.
Yeah. He's got like this hanging lip as well, which, he has that down to a T. Really, really impressive. And I like
Good
Mark
actor.
Ruffalo. Yeah, I think he's a really, really underrated and underappreciated actor, even though he's obviously, he's the Hulk and stuff and the Avengers film. It's so funny because there's one scene in this film where they're like driving and they're like pulling up in their driveway at home, and there's like this green light from their house or whatever, and that sort of lights up Mark Ruffalo's face, and I'm not kidding you, he looks just like the Hulk in one of those shots, because it's got those green things, and it's the green vibe, very interesting. I wondered if that was on
He
purpose.
looks quite a bit like the Hulk.
Yeah,
That's true.
but yeah,
It's an interesting story. I think I kind of remember this story. Not, of course, not any of the details, but I remember my mom telling me about it, because we had a lot of pans. Like, be careful not to kind of scratch the surface of the pans with like the fork or something like that, because then you kind of eat a little bits of like the Teflon,
yeah,
which is inside there.
it's so crazy to think about how this is a real story. And obviously, I mean, this film tells a story that spans so many years, and just amazing how long it takes for them to pay for what they did, or maybe they don't even pay for it at all, you know?
Yeah, I mean, in those kind of films, it always seems like, all right, they kind of discover something and they sue them, and that takes like a couple of weeks or months. But like these courtroom hearings always take like years and years when it's like a big case. And sorry, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary to think there are a couple of cases which are well known, but there are many cases which are not as well known, and kind of the companies keep going because if nobody kind of realizes and gets outraged,
yeah,
nobody really cares, like with Nestle or other companies.
Yeah, and I mean, these companies aren't stupid either. They're like figuring out these loopholes where they're like, you know,
they know what you're doing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's also part of the film where they're like, they get accused of things, and then the things that they do in order for them to get away with the scot-free is crazy. And it's just a crazy world we're living in. And
yeah, I mean, if you get the money, you can like hire, I don't know, 50 guys who just sit in a room figuring out loopholes.
Absolutely. And I mean, yeah, as I said, I wasn't blown away by this, maybe because my expectations were too high. And it's obviously difficult. This is a film that tells such a shocking story, and I don't know what else to expect from it, really. You don't really want a cinematic masterpiece out of a story that just deserves to be told. And it's just, I'm happy that this movie exists for it to tell its story. And it's good. It's really good. But it just, for whatever reason, it didn't blow me away, which, I mean, it's so difficult with a film like this. Even though, similar to Spotlight, if you remember the credits at the end of Spotlight, that just sort of take your breath away as to what actually like happened and what areas were affected and stuff. Yeah. You got similar credits at the end where you just like, unbelievable, dude. I mean, crazy. Yeah. But it tells a story about a guy who really fights for the right thing, and whether or not he's successful, you need to watch the film to find out.
It sounds very interesting. I mean, good for you that you went to all those lengths to kind of get to the film.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's good for me. It's very. If I waited a couple of months longer, it would have been for free. I'm guessing. I'm hoping it's going to be released soon. But anyway,
like through that, we got a more interesting conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. What's your pick?
My pick is. I don't know. There's a bit of a pattern for like the last couple of weeks for me, because it's another foreign language film.
Yeah.
And I just want to explain why I keep picking foreign language films.
Okay.
It's not because I'm all of a sudden extremely interested in them or I want to see more interesting or whatever. The reason is I'm looking for new things that came out.
Right.
And I think most like big releases, like big American releases, I think I've already seen, or it's just not my kind of show or film. So I've been combing like the Prime and Netflix library for anything interesting that came out in recent months. The interesting things that kind of came up that I haven't watched yet were foreign language films, because I kind of keep putting them off because I'm not always in the mood for a film where I have to read subtitles, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had some that I meant to watch, like Portrait of a Lady on Fire,
yes,
which came out quite recently on Prime, or A Son, or other kind of films. And I recently talked about a film from Mexico,
yes,
which was I'm No Longer Here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a Spanish, in the Spanish language, a film from Chile,
right?
Which is Nobody Knows I'm Here.
Is that in any way related to the other film?
Not at all. And I kept mixing them up, so I had to write it down so I don't say the wrong film.
Yeah.
But it's quite an interesting film. I think just the premise alone was what interested me, because it's about a grown-up man who lives in Chile.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
That's it. Great fucking film. No, the thing is, he was a child singer. But the thing is, he's not a very attractive man. You see his older self is quite overweight, and his younger self was also, well, not fat, but not as skinny as people kind of look in the music industry. So they kind of proposed to his dad, so yeah, we really like his voice, but we don't like how he looks, so let's just use his voice, like, you know, Milli Vanilli, I think the band was called.
Yeah.
which had this like big scandal, and he kind of did the same thing. He sang, and then another person claimed to be the person who sings and just lip synced
Right.
because the other kid was
Interesting.
like better looking and more interesting.
Nobody
then-
knows I'm here. I get it.
Yeah, one of the songs also is called "Nobody Knows I'm Here," like one of his most famous songs, and kind of switches between his older self, who's very shy and has a problem with talking with girls and has really low self-esteem, I guess, and is like very sad and kind of still dreams about singing.
Right.
He makes himself a cape, and when nobody's looking, he kind of starts dancing and things like that, and then it switches between his past self as younger as a kid and how he was kind of in this industry, like very short, like dream like sequence, like only like 3 minutes long. You kind of see a little glimpse of what it was like to see the other kids sing your songs and get all the praise, and his father like kind of pretty much selling him out and him want to be a singer,
Right.
and seeing all this behind the scenes, like the producer saying all those things to his dad, which is a tough thing to hear, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And yeah, it's an extremely interesting film. The thing is, it's quite weird because in this film you try to be on like his side. You're like, this poor guy, right?
Right.
But he does some very weird shit, like he breaks into houses and steals like nail polish and stuff like that, and becomes quite aggressive at times. And then throughout the film, because you see so little glimpses of what he was like when he was younger,
Yeah.
things get revealed throughout the film, and your kind of perspective on everything kind of keeps changing. And who is the good guy, who is the bad guy, and it's
Is this a true
quite
story?
cool. It is not, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Maybe inspired by true events.
Yeah.
But the
Sounds
thing is,
very interesting.
it reminded me what you said about I think it was what was the name? Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
Because you said the film was quite good, but the ending sold you.
Well, just the song. I love the song at the end.
Right. It's like a very cool sequence at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Which is quite ambiguous, I guess you could call it, because you
Okay.
don't know if, I wasn't sure if it's real or like his fantasy of what he wants to be real.
Right.
And it's such a fucking good scene. I loved it, and that really sold the film to me, because of the first half is like, it's quite good, but the second half, I think, is where the film really picks up and becomes way more interesting, because you see way more which is revealed. Because the thing is, in the first half, you just see him living pretty much out in the middle of nowhere with his uncle,
Mm-hmm.
like with like a sheep farm, and they kind of, I don't know, do something with sheep pelts. I don't know really what they're doing. But yeah, and they only kind of see very few people. Like every couple of days, somebody comes by with fresh pelts, and then one of the people who usually comes gets sick, so his niece comes by, and he's like very awkward around her and quite creepy, and doesn't want to talk to her.
Right.
And then, but his uncle then kind of gets injured, so he's alone out in the house, and she comes by to check on him and see how he's doing, and she trying to kind of get closer to him to just see if he's all right, because he's all alone without his uncle. And it's a very sweet dynamic between the two of them, and it's quite weird. Just seeing how uncomfortable he is, and then kind of seeing, of course, there's a reason why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
And which I thought it was quite funny, because you said the color scheme in Dark Waters was quite interesting.
Yeah.
So was it in this film, because there are those kind of weird scenes. You're not sure if it's real or not for a second.
Okay.
And then it's quite obviously it isn't, because there's this weird scene where not weird scene, he just goes into this room and it kind of lights up in red and he starts dancing. And I'm pretty sure it's not like a real light that comes on, it's just a representation of what like a spotlight is on him or something like that. And then later on, he hears something quite brutal, I guess. Something very honest, which he didn't want to hear. And he just goes to his room and starts throwing up.
Right.
So fucking much. So much. And it looks like nail polish what he's throwing up.
My God.
And those very weird and abstract scenes which make me think, I'm not sure what happens at the end is what really happened. I really hope it is real. But yeah.
Dude, I don't think you notice one thing about this film, because I looked it up now. This stars...
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
The
This is
guy
fucking
from
Harley.
Lost.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I actually even wrote down the name.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that guy. I haven't seen him in much other than Lost. But,
I haven't seen Lost, but he's really cool in this film. And I was quite surprised because I thought to myself, well, there's like this song "Nobody Knows I'm Here," which you kind of hear him singing at times,
right,
to himself. And the thing is, his English is so good, and I was like, oh well, did somebody lip sync for the real actor now? Which
is
would
he
be
the one
kind of
who's
ironic,
actually
but
singing?
he sings for himself.
That's actually his voice.
His actual voice, and it's actually quite a good song. I started listening to it.
Cool.
And yeah, it kind of reminds me just from the voice of Sixto Rodriguez.
Who?
Sixto Rodriguez.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, he kind of got famous through the documentary Searching for Sugar Man.
Yeah. What's his first name? I know that.
Sixto.
Okay. I know the documentary. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things about it.
Great documentary.
Yeah.
Great. But yeah, it's a very interesting film. Very cool. I mean, because
it sounds very interesting.
Because of his singing, I guess he's American actually, with like Chilean heritage.
Roots, yeah, maybe. It says here on IMDb he's an American actor. That's all it says.
Right.
Yeah, born in Omaha, Nebraska.
Real American.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I want to check this out.
Yeah, please do. And I think it even won like at the Tribeca Film Festival in April, which I guess was held online back in the day. Well, because it was like 1 or 2 months in after Corona started. And I think they were one of the few festivals who did it online or quite limited.
Yeah.
And it won Best Art Director. And I get it. It's got some really cool scenes.
Yeah, Best New Narrative Director.
Narrative Director.
Here. Yeah. So it's a directorial debut, I'm guessing, as well. Yeah. He did like one short film in 2015, but very interesting. Awesome. You know I love those music films, so...
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a lot of music and not a lot of different songs. It's mostly that one song he's kind of known for.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's weird kind of see, because you kind of start wondering why is he living in this really fucked up, like secluded and quite shady, like
oh, you
not
mean
very good looking house.
Yeah,
because
shady looking house.
He should he should have quite a lot of money, because even if he's like the only lip sync guy, it's his voice, so he should be making bank, right? And then you kind of get why he's living the way he does, and because it starts off quite cryptic.
Yeah. For a 90-minute film, it sounds quite jam-packed with the story from all the things you just mentioned. Does it feel like a short movie?
They're like short sequences which explain a lot, and there are quite a few long sequences in between which don't show a lot.
Right.
I think it becomes quite interesting, like the latter half, because in like the first 45 to even maybe 50 to 60 minutes, not a lot happens, and then something big happens, and the story gets quite interesting.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Have you watched anything else? Well, you watched Normal People, obviously. You watched more than I have.
Right. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything new besides that.
Yeah, but I'm happy and thankful that you watched something new for the show. And I mean, obviously it's
yeah, me too. It would have been quite boring if I had.
I've watched nothing this week. What about you?
Nothing as well.
Yeah. See you next week on the best thing. Be interesting. I know only like every third or fourth episode has something to actually talk about. They just always have to. We'll always make the episodes like 45 minutes long, but I'll just fill it with like silence, so they don't know which one. Yeah.
So just us walking away from the microphone.
Yeah.
Doing everyday stuff.
Everyday chores. Yeah. Just watching a film. But then I got to mute it for copyright reasons. We can't.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great podcast.
It's a great idea. So many great ideas. But yeah, I mean, you say you haven't watched anything for the special episode? I mean, we're going to talk about someone that we both know a lot of.
Yeah,
already.
but I noticed there's quite a lot that I'm also missing.
Right. But there's always going to be things we're missing on every actor.
But there's the one film that I haven't gotten around to watching, and I haven't found on Prime or anywhere. And I want to ask you if you got it on Blu-ray. Maybe I already asked you, but
well, you want
after the episode.
Maybe you can tease it. I don't know. What's the film? Does it just have the guy we're talking about as a...
No, it's like 3 actors,
Right.
which are quite well known, I think. I haven't heard of this film before, but then we went to a store to buy Blu-ray. Sorry,
Right.
because I was trying to look up the film because I cannot remember the fucking film.
Is it a new film?
Not at all. Not at all. I think it's called Brothers.
It is called Brothers.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I have
Do you
that
have it on
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Can I maybe borrow it?
Sure.
Because I want to buy the Blu-ray, but I couldn't find it last time I was there.
Hold on, I'm actually gonna. I'm not sure. This is gonna be great for radio. Hold on. I have it. I do have it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting because it's got 3 great actors in it. So we could be
Great.
talking about any one of those, no?
2 great actors,
What
I'd
come
say.
on, what are you talking about?
as far as I know.
What are you talking about? But that's a nice little tease. I mean, it could be either one of the 3. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff. I mean, how much would you say that you really want to watch before we do this episode?
Well, I made a list as well. I love making lists. And
Who doesn't?
yeah. Let's see. Where have I? It's right here. I want it. Oh, fuck, it's not. Oh, hold on. There it is. I've written down things that I wanted to watch and rewatch. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that I wanted to watch that I have never seen. And 2 things
Wow,
I wanted
that's a
to
lot.
rewatch. I think I might be able to watch 2 of those things. So we get to the episode. But these are all like, they're including like some of the films that I'm pretty sure won't make my list. It's just, I've written down the things that I haven't seen. I've already made a top 10 list, like a temporary one. And I'll be happy if it's that. Don't need to add to it necessarily.
I mean, I think we've seen like the best things.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what you've seen. I think I've seen one film that you haven't, which I think you would like quite a bit.
Well, I'm holding one in my hands right now that you apparently haven't seen, as you just said, which is one of my favorites, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the ones I'm missing. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I think I'm mostly missing like his older films and one new one, which is actually on Prime to rent, which I want to watch like maybe today or tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm now. Yeah. Do we want to keep this in just, or do we want to?
Sure.
Do we want it to be a huge surprise?
No, I
'Cause
think it's quite ambiguous. What do we just? Is it ambiguous? Am
No,
I
because you
using this
said-
word wrong.
No, it's ambiguous. Is sort of, it leaves room for
All right,
interpretation.
yeah.
But we just said it's Brother stars 3 actors. We I think we had like 3 times you just said he or his, so it's just one of the 2 actors, and you bashed one of them. So it could either be one of the. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see who figures it out. Nobody.
Yeah.
I think Brothers is not that well known. I mean, if you look it up
If you look
and
it
you
up, you
do
know.
your research, then you'll know who we're going to talk about. And
Very
if you
true.
do this, good for you. You earned yourself a teaser.
Yeah. Very well said. Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up. A nice,
Yeah.
short and crisp episode.
How long have we been going? Like 40 minutes?
Well, we might need to cut a few things. I'm not sure, but it's going to be like 40 to 43, 44 minutes, something
that's
like
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah.
We've been kind of having kind of longer episodes like lately. Normally we were like 40, 42,
Yeah.
48 minutes, and now it's like over 50.
Over 50. It just because the conversation just flows so well.
You watch less, you know?
Yeah, we
So
should.
we've more time for,
Well,
I don't know,
I don't know.
longer conversations. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a long conversation again next week, I'm sure, because the special episodes tend to be very long.
Right, yeah.
We always try to keep them shorter, but yeah.
I think especially with like next week's person.
It's going to be 3 hours. We're
Yeah,
going to dedicate a
most likely.
whole day to this person because we love that person. All right. Well, yeah, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. 2, in my opinion, very interesting picks.
Yeah.
One that's going to sort of make you feel very bad about the world, more than you already do, because everything that's going on. If you want to add to that misery, watch Dark Waters. And I'm very interested in your film as well.
Yeah, dude, I would love to watch Dark Waters, but
it's going to be released soon. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I can borrow you the DVD.
yeah, sure. If you give, well, it will probably be quite some time until I get to watch it, especially with like having to watch things for the special. But yeah, I'd love to.
All right.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Check us out on YouTube or Spotify or one of our other platforms. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you'd like, and check us out on Twitter and Instagram under Best Thing Radio.
Well done.
And
well said. Yeah.
Did I leave anything out? There's so many things.
No, if you haven't just pressed the follow button on Spotify or subscription button on YouTube, please just do that. Even if you don't necessarily use that platform, it just helps us out. If you like the videos on YouTube and stuff, it would be great. Much appreciated.
Right. And yeah, if you want to see our cover art, which Flo designs every week, you can see it on either Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thanks, Gabe. And thank you everyone for listening. We'll be back next week with a special episode.
Bye.
See you there.